No, this is the most mellow I'd have never felt up here.
I think this is what it feels like when you get tossed out of Wanda's bubble.
Right. It's like
start
you
to
seem like you're flying at super fast speed, but you're just really in slow motion, like these clouds.
Right. It's a clear afternoon today.
That it is. I see. I'm looking down. I see some familiar faces, man. I see John O'Brien with top billing. I see Levi.
What's up? Hey, that cloud right there, it kind of looks like Aiden 013.
Oh. Well, it's funny because if I look at it with one eye closed, it almost looked like Adrian Correa.
Yeah, I can see that one. Hey, how about that one over there? It looks like Trevor Blindney.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, but wait. This one that's coming in right now look a little bit like Jedi Jin.
I totally see that one. Yes, sir.
From the good side.
That.
From the good side.
That group over there looks kind of like Star Wars named Levi Bognar.
Yeah.
A little bit of CR33, P3R. It looks like you're throwing up gang signs the way it looks in that cloud.
Oh, and then the way that cloud looking right there though, look like it's getting the treatment from the moderator.
Oh, it's totally getting the treatment from moderator, man.
Yeah. I know y'all don't get along and all that, but
Coming through messing up our clouds.
I see a Nell Boogie looking cloud right there.
That next to that robot looking cloud.
Yeah.
Next to that Michael Hostler cloud.
Oh man, look. It's like they all ganged up together. Them JCR, Duke Silver Surfer 81, they all like in a little
Yeah, I see them. Right next to the
little
black
cluster.
bag. Yeah. It's a clear, nice, half cloudy day with all the Nerd Avengers in the sky.
Ain't it though, man? I say
Purple
Purples. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Maybe we need that for the Discord. Purple.
Hey, I'm with it, man. I'm with it. What's good, y'all? What's good?
It is.
What it do?
My man Al.
My man Lavis.
Another day, nice day in the neighborhood.
Very nice day in the neighborhood, man.
Rogers neighborhood now, did we?
Yeah, we did. We came through there, man. I was beating down the block, knocking pictures off the wall. They didn't like me, man. They was
right, because you was actually in Wanda's neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was, throwing up the W. Westwood. Oh,
at least he didn't do it in the name of the Nerd Avengers.
No, man. That's when I'm on the up and up. That's my day job. I don't wreck shop till the night. The night.
Exactly.
What's good though, man? What's good? How's your Saturday going?
It's going pretty good. It's nice and mellow, especially sitting here with all these beautiful nerd and broke Avengers.
This is true.
How y'all doing?
This is true. And Pew in your cereal has finally arrived apparently. And I was waiting for somebody to co-sign that Westview. I see you, the black bat. I see you.
Yes.
But yeah, man, like Wanda was on some, they turned up a little bit this week.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I heard what your rating was ahead of time, so I feel like we're definitely on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Really?
With this episode.
Yeah. Oh, yes. You know what? And I think you are absolutely right, because I'm of the mindset that this episode really turned things up. Like, I gave it, after watching it, a solid 9. And that's simply because I watched this episode from the normie's perspective.
You did.
And while I had, I had some knowledge beforehand of how things was gonna play out. Like, I really allowed myself to just get lost in this episode as if I really didn't have a clue what was going on with the story.
Like at all, right?
Like at all. And let me tell you, man, like when I did that, it was just it really for me was the best episode we got so far. The best one we had gotten so far. Not quite at a 10 because I still think we haven't hit that full on MCU level yet, but just the fact that they came out swinging on this episode, man. But you say we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum, so
yeah, because I mean, you say what 9? You said 9.5?
No, just a 9,
Just a 9. So okay,
yeah,
okay,
solid
okay.
9,
I
solid
mean,
9.
I'm over here looking at the chat, and I see people here. Excuse me, that was Adrian Carrera with the 9.5.
Okay.
And hold on, let's see before I give mine, because I know everybody, and as soon as I give mine, everybody in here is going to be like, but I see Star Wars Nate. Okay, 9 out of 10 for sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
9.5. Poo in your cereal. Got an 8 to 9.
8 to 9. Nate. Yep.
Okay.
Coachella with a 9.
8. Okay. Ain't nobody still dipping down as low.
Oh, don't tell me, bro. Don't tell me.
For me, okay, this is for me, and I don't,
Mm-hmm.
really care how people feel about it, but
no, speak your truth, man.
Me and Joe Merrill probably are on the same page because I gave it about a 7, and I give it a 7 because, to me, looking at it, an OG fan, okay, 5.5. That's a little. I wouldn't give it. That's where I started. Before we got to the end of it, I was going to be like 5.5. Okay, but I mean, I did like the perspective switch. You know what I'm saying? I did like the fact that you got to see where Monica Rambua is coming from,
mm-hmm.
And it kind of gave context and confirmed that it was this is going on during before Far From Home. It's like right in between,
right
before Far From Home happens and everything. So
yeah.
They hit us with the blip. I thought that was pretty interesting. Everybody blipping back and shit just going crazy. And by the way, before I go a little too far into it,
spoiler
alert.
Spoilers.
So if you haven't seen it, at least put it on right now while we're talking about it.
It's something like that, man.
Something like
do
that.
Do yourself a couple favors.
Hit your girlfriends, baby mamas, cousins up, get the password. Do what you do.
But anyway.
I think we got the different perspective and seeing it from the eyes of Sword.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Okay, 5.5, and then going through, but there's just still some things for me. It's like I'm digging this. I dig the sitcom stuff they did. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, oh girl really went and busted out an old Magnavox kind of TV, which still looked a little futuristic. That TV looked more like there was like, okay, for some reason we're still gonna make a TV this big, but just make it look better.
But
I mean,
are you sure that's not nitpicky though?
No, I'm not. That's not part of the why. It's just like,
okay, I got
you. If you want me to hurry up and kind of wrap it up, it's kind of like, okay, so like the fact that she even did that, and for it to still be literal sitcom-y for what they're seeing, they're watching it like we are. I agree, like with my man Josh, when he put up on the Twitter. If you ain't on the Twitter, go follow that. Den of Nerds. Was like they're memeing us with this episode to me, and I felt like that watching it. I felt like I was being memed because we're like, oh well, why this and why that, and how come this, and all the questions that were left, that they left you with for the past 3 episodes that you've gotten, 3 or 4 episodes you got, is exactly where Sword is. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like, okay, all right, they're acknowledging that what we are seeing, what we're watching in real life is what they're seeing in this. Okay, I got you, whatever. Mm-hmm. I didn't bump it up. Then all that to me was just, okay, now we see who's doing this. Okay, blah, blah, blah. That's 5.5 for me if that's what they had left it at. But to me, the reason why I was down with the 7.7 or the 7.5, that's where I'll give it, is because at the end there, where it actually does lean into the fact that, okay, things going forward are about to get turned up, because now Wanda's actually aware that whatever deal she had going on with the people she had manifested. It's going past that now, and people who really don't belong there are breaching her world. Right. And now we get the confirmation that Wanda may not be. I don't want to go and say she's an outright villain.
Yeah,
but I will say she is complicit.
Oh yeah, she's got
whatever the hell
she's got some explaining to do. Because
she definitely got
it was definitely apparent by the end of this episode that Wanda's hands is just as dirty. Even if, taking everything at face value for what we've received so far, so what we've seen so far, yeah, she's not, this ain't she can't play victim just yet. Put it like that.
No. I mean, and just, it's whatever's happening is jarring her out of her reality. I'm starting to see a little more, and I'm not necessarily calling them leaks. I know there were some that people are like, oh, this is leaks. But I am starting to see more things pop up outright that show Wanda in the living room.
Gotcha.
Like before all this happened, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the breakdown point. So I'm thinking the next episode that we get will be if not the 10, it'll be close. It'll be real close.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with you on that. Like I think once, like now that we've gotten kind of established where we are with it, now that we realize what's going on, or that they, at least from the normie perspective, now that they've let you know and kind of spelled it out that this ain't kosher, like something ain't right. It's from that point now, it's like it's on now. It's on.
Yeah, from here on out, yeah. So I mean, to me, I don't consider this filler because there are a lot of things coming out of it that it's still giving us info that we didn't have, like, okay, they have IDs, they identified certain people, they didn't identify other people, like they know what they know in their world. So that just brings us all up to snuff on what's going on, period. So now we know here going forward, it's about to get multiversal.
Yeah. Oh, you already know, man. And that's what I'm saving my tens for when they blow the doors off of it and they start giving us those multiversal implications. It's gonna be let me just let you know. That's when it's gonna get officially official around these parts.
Right. Now, and I see out here. Was it JCR talking about sleeping? Everybody, that's another theory going around. Maybe she's asleep.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, we had this conversation because I was watching this, with the missus, and we were talking about she was asking me like to play on the title, and is it WandaVision because we're watching Wanda television, or is it because it's Wanda and Vision, or is it because this is Wanda's vision?
Right.
And I think it's more of all of the above, but I do think there's an element of that where this is happening kind of on a mental level with her, and she may not necessarily be, and this is just my speculation, but she might not necessarily be conscious of what is going on or the impact of what she's doing. She may be well aware that she's manipulating this world and doing, shaping things the way that she sees fit, but she may think that she's doing it in a way or from a standpoint that isn't really, nobody is really at risk.
Right.
And
she's been lied to, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. She has been bamboozled. But the question I have is, you said that you felt like the episode kind of hit on a bunch of stuff that, we already kind of knew. And I'm on the other side of that where I'm like, from a normie's perspective, I feel like this is the one that really kind of pulled the shroud off of everything. What do you think though, like from a full viewership standpoint? Do you think there's more people who felt like, oh, this was the episode where things really got popping? Or do you think there's still people that are waiting and saying, okay, yeah, you told me pretty much what I already knew. Now what?
I think it's a bit of both.
For sure.
And hidden in there, or at least between the lines in there, I hear the question of did this episode really edify people? Like looking at how you did look at it from a normie perspective,
right?
Where there are things now that's like, okay, I get all of this, but and did this answer that? But and I'd say I would say for the people who probably are interested in it now, because what's going on, we really got much, so they got this, so it's like, who are these characters, what's going on, blah 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 blah. After the first 3 episodes, yes, I would say this episode did answer some things, and to me, for the sweaty standpoint, it does answer a couple other things too. It gives us a timeline. Like, I don't think before, I think we were really considering it like this is the first thing that's coming after Endgame. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're looking at it like, okay, this is happening. And I know we got Far From Home or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is even happening before Far From Home.
Yeah, exactly.
So, which to me kind of begs the question of, okay, so if this is happening before Far From Home and New York is right there, what kind of ending are we honestly going to get from this? Are we going to get something that ends to where it really rippled more through the dimensions and do the other multiverses, and then it's kind of like a whip effect? So of course it starts here, so it'll go out, but it ripples back a bit.
Well, I think,
so
I think though,
that last or what?
Well, I think the convenient out that you have is depending on what, like, so let's, if you were just trying to do it from a timeline perspective, right? And just based on context clues from the movies. There are scenes in Far From Home where they're still showing footage of people getting Blip black back. You know what I'm saying? As if that was still something that was in the news cycle. So let's say at most you'd be talking about what, 2 or 3 weeks from the point that we saw in WandaVision where they actually showed it happening in real time to where we are in Far From Home where they're showing TV footage of it happening. You know what I'm saying? And that's going at the very most, because it, depending on how the news cycle works in the MCU, if you really want to go get down into the weeds with it, it's like, well, are we talking about a matter of days before this is changed up? Or is it, just a matter of, or are we talking about a few weeks? So
actually, now I think about it, to even answer my own damn question in a way, because really my question is, why aren't we really seeing the effects of it by Far From Home? But I guess in a way, they did say that, they had the police sitting outside there, and they didn't. They was like, this place it don't exist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they didn't even question the thing about it. Never crossed the threshold. It's not there.
Yeah, and
so
even if you get to the end though, but even if you get to the point where by the end of WandaVision, there's that reality is being impacted on a larger level, or that even if the story of what's going on in Westview gets out, I think that Far From Home can be explained because, number one, most of that movie takes place overseas, and two, it's really from Spider-Man's perspective. So it could very well be that, he comes back to New York and he's thinking everything is chill, but the next thing you know, he's getting snatched up by somebody from SWORD or something like that, and it's like, hey, we gonna need you to come over here, and because we got some big, you know what I'm saying? It could be something like that, or he could be made aware of it at least, immediately following Far From Home, like as he's getting back and getting reacclimated to being back in the States and all of that.
Right, I feel you. That's a good. I will accept that as a great answer to my question. Good
job.
Man,
I try.
For a swarmy.
Swarmy,
that was a great answer.
I am a swarmy, but I pick up fast.
I've noticed. Oh, you sound like I did back in the Mando stuff.
Yeah, see, man, look, exactly. This is the way we work. You already know this.
We grow each other, man.
It's such a beautiful thing, bro. Don't even get me started.
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go along with JCR's. He was, he's kind of in line with what I'm thinking. But he's like, how do y'all think Vision is existing without the Soul Stone, or is he maybe a projection of Wanda's? And that was going to kind of be my question of, what do you think about like Vision? Do you think that is just a projection of her mind, of just a created person? Because so far it seems like everybody who's in that world is at least tangible. The only questionable person in that place is Vision. So do you think that she kind of like, and what happened to his body? We don't ever see what happened to his body after Endgame. We just know he's dead.
Right.
We don't see a burial or nothing. So is there some kind of way maybe you think she maybe like disappeared with his body, had him somewhere, or went to Wakanda because that's where it was at? You think went to Wakanda and got him? Is that was some kind of scuffle, or do you think he's just a some kind of a projection?
In my opinion, I think Vision dead, bro. I
mean, he dead.
I think he
That's
dead.
not the question.
And I think, but what I'm saying is, I think that that is a complete projection, but it is totally on the table for that projection to become reality. Simply because I think there's going to be, and this is again me just kind of trying to play, Nostradamus a little bit, kind of trying to get my prognostication on. But I think there's going to be a point where the next big snap is going to be realizing that not just, like Monica was able to penetrate the to Westview and get in, and then she was booted out.
Just straight walking. Yeah,
she was booted out. But the next snap is going to be when one of Wanda's creations is able to get out. Right. And is now in this universe. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the next big thing, and that's going to be when you start to realize the potential of what's going down with Vision, and what people are trying, like what's really going on here. Right. Now, I got another question for you, because I'm starting to see this in the chat a little bit.
Yeah, it keeps coming up. I know.
Are we not discussing leaks?
I mean, so first, let me get Calista Arcus $10.
Look, let me tell you real quick before you do that. I've had that highlighted on my screen, ready to rock. So again, in sync, like man, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
But yeah, she said my life has been crazy lately, and I've missed a few after darks, but love was always there. I'm so glad to be here today, finally. Well, we are always glad to have you.
Yes, we
Patricia
appreciate
Palmisano.
you.
I love that name. So again, Al, this kind of drives my point. When I was saying before, where we had that kind of conversation was like, handling spoilers and leaks. And I told you, what I tell you, the people. The people are the ones who spoil it half the time anyway. So the people. Are we not talking about the leaks? No, we can talk about it. I mean, it seems like everybody who's in here, like I don't know, somebody might grow a wrench if someone's like, no, don't tell us about the leaks. They'll probably try to kick him out the damn self. So I don't see why not. I remember that we were talking about it a little earlier about the Evan Peters.
Yeah.
Apparently, Evan Peters is supposed to be there. And like I thought, they would speed it up.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and grow them kids. So I guess we're seeing, and I guess Wiccan was there as well.
Okay.
You get to see them be kind of grown up. What else did they have? I guess Vision. I hear Vision comes out of the bubble and talks to Sword.
Yeah.
And when you think he's in like actual Vision, like his old school clothes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Talking to them, but apparently he gets like sucked back in. Of course. So, he's gonna be there. Let's see. We got to talk about over here. Vision is Simon Williams. He's under witness protection because he was embezzling money from the New Jersey mob. Wanda is using Wonder Man as her Vision illusion. So that's probably, again, some of the leaks that's coming out. I'm not gonna front. I purposely, for real, didn't like seek out the leaks because I kind of wanted to talk about like this episode, and for what I'm hearing when it comes to the leaks, it's either one or two things. Like we're either gonna get 2 episodes, because apparently the stuff that's leaking out is like there's no way that they can probably fit some of the stuff we're talking about in this 30 minutes we've been getting lately. So we're probably going to get either 5 and 6, or we're going to get one really long 5th episode. Gotcha. And with possibly hidden episodes, or they didn't list all the episodes there probably will be. So instead of us having like the 8, we're thinking we might get a little bit more.
Well, one of the things I was thinking about with that was, and we talked about this a little bit earlier today, but the idea of them, because if you do the sitcom thing, right? The one thing that they haven't done yet is the to be continued. And, that was a big thing with sitcoms when they would try to have, they'd have certain arcs, certain plot lines. You'd have like a 2, 3, 4 episode arc. And, we may have been told, and this would be a total why Suge move? Yeah, you have, let's say, 8 episodes or 9 episodes, but some of those episodes have 2 parts. Some of those, you know what I'm saying? Like it could totally be a situation where we come out because there's rumors of there being, people or about there being 2 leaks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think there's a reason why they gave us the 2 episodes in the beginning. I don't think it was just because they wanted to hurry up and squeeze it in. I think there's going to be a couple of episodes like that.
Yeah, no doubt. Exactly. And I think that would be the perfect way for them to really flesh out more of this stuff, and for us, because that's like the question for people who kind of know where this is headed. It's like, okay, how are you going to get all of this wrapped up in this 9 episode arc?
Right.
Well, one of the ways you could do it is, like I said, you have certain episodes have, maybe 2 parts, or even maybe 3 parts or something like that. And that would be a way where you could start to realize, or you start to see, or they could play out how it is that, Wanda is able to create all of this shit and how she's able to do what she's doing. Or if Vision is, or did start out as her own creation. I know the leaks are saying otherwise, but like just playing, devil's advocate on it. Like if he was just a creation of her mind, then that could kind of explain, or they could explain, they'd have time to flesh out how it is that he was able to kind of tap into his actual consciousness, you know what I'm saying? Or his memories or whatever, or something like that. Or maybe he starts to realize, because he is a part of her consciousness, that she's doing this, and it's kind of like a thing that he can't quite put his finger on it. But
to me, this is where I want to lean. I'll go ahead and say it. I think that all the speculation that we're putting in, I mean, unless one of these leaks actually comes out and proves true that maybe Vision is actually like Wonder Man or something like that. I think, honestly, somehow she got my man's body, and he's an android. You know what I'm saying? He's an inanimate object anyway.
Right.
The Mind Stone and Thor kickstarting it was more or less just what was running him. You know what I'm saying? So without that, he had he suffered some damage. But what got me in the beginning of this episode was pretty much they said that this town is created on a Big Bang level. They say that this town just spawned out of nowhere, completely created on a Big Bang type level. And that kind of reminds me of back when they were doing the experiments on her. Von Strucker, he was doing the experiments back on her, and he was using which stone was that? Was that the Reality Stone? Or because he had a stone.
Yeah, I can. Don't give me the line, bro.
Or the Space Stone. I'll give 1,000 points to anybody in the chat. Tell me what stone it was. They're saying it was the Mind Stone. Okay, so I mean, if you look at it, then that makes perfect sense. Of course, naturally, why her and Vision were attracted to each other anyway. So that would be, a good why she can't let Vision go so easily, because it's so attracted to the Infinity Stone. And even though Thanos destroyed it, what was it, the Russo brothers or Feige himself? Somebody in there said that even though that he destroyed them, you can't really destroy Infinity Stones. So he just destroyed their physical embodiment. He didn't destroy the actual elements of, because if he were to, that would just pretty much destroy reality. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, and I seen somebody in the chat kind of pop that in before I got to, so I give him some credit too. I would say it was maybe Joe. But I'm thinking that maybe him destroying the Infinity Stones in their physical realm, they had to find another physical embodiment, and so therefore that makes Wanda the new Mind Stone, and possibly those who interacted with these stones before more closely become now the physical embodiment. So, like he was saying, I agree with that. Like, maybe in some time in this multiverse, we'll see that Doctor Strange actually has powers of the Time Stone, because that was his Guardian Stone. That's what he was watching.
I got you.
my man Star-Lord, he had direct contact with the Power Stone. And on through from all those who had interactions with the Power Stones, they're probably more physical embodiments. So I mean, like her power to be able to actually Big Bang level create a town. There's no reason why, like how it flashed and you saw Vision was dead, like she saw him that way, but then when she opened it into her eyes again, he was reanimated. Like there's nothing saying that she didn't go get my man's body and she's reanimating it. And by the end of this, whatever happens, uh, he actually just becomes a real tangible person without the Mind Stone because he has her energy now. She's
Gotcha.
Mind Stone energy. So I think that we are. I think we might be wrong. I think we might be thinking like, yeah, he's a manifestation of Wonder Man or whoever other character. When in the end, uh, he's really just his own manifestation because she
Right,
has that
because she has
power
the
to
power to
create
do
it.
it.
Like,
Exactly.
she could just do
Exactly. And
so.
that's the thing that, for me would be the most interesting to see develop, because that really gives you a taste of what level her powers are on. And if, ultimately we know that, or if we feel like this is going towards a point where her manipulation, if you will, starts to really grow in terms of this being, a catalyst for whatever happens, whether it's the incursions or whatever, however they set it up. You know what I'm saying? If Secret Wars is what we saying it's gonna be, right? If that's where we going, and Multiverse of Madness is gonna be kind of the first maybe act of that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then this show is like the essentially her or us dipping our toe into the multiverse pool. You know what I'm saying? And so they would have to set up or they would have to make sure to spell out for the normies how we got here. And I think they're doing that so far, but like once we get to the point where
Slowly,
you realize, yeah, exactly. And that's why I said, with Vision, they could, if they do this to be continued type situation, which I'm really digging that idea the more I think about it, because it's like that's the perfect way for you to really wake Vision up. You know what I'm saying? Is like in that sitcom type situation, and it could very well be, I can see it being, part one being that where he's outside in his costume and he pulls up on Agnes, or Agnes pulls up on him. Right. I'm sorry, and then, he snaps out of it somehow, and that's where we get him talking to Sword. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the second part of it. And then ultimately he gets yeeted back into like Wanda's vision. Cause it's like, no, you can't. She realizes he's gone and she's like, no. Just like she did like with the rewind with the beekeeper.
Okay.
And maybe we realize, and now here's another question for you. Who's editing this show?
Yeah.
Because somebody is trying to hide the fact that Wanda is on some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not showing, when Darcy's checking out the show, they're not showing what, her sending Monica Rambua on her way. They don't get to see all that. So they said, she even mentions the fact that it's being edited, but who's doing it? And I mean, there's tons of people or reasons you could come up with, but I'm more interested in, when do we find that out? When do you think we find that out? Is that something that we find out now, or is that going to be something they don't pay off until way later?
I don't know. I mean, it's something that's kind of like in between. I don't know if they'll pay that off a little bit later or now. There's a few things, especially with if some of these leaks are actual for real leaks, might push that off a little bit, but they might pay it off here soon. It's kind of,
yeah.
For me, it's kind of up in the air on that.
Now I'll tell you, and this is probably sacrilegious to hardcore Marvel comic fans, but I'll tell you what how I would love to see them play this out. So what if Wanda's like collapsing of the multiverse or her playing with the multiverse is only the tip of the iceberg. And what if like Wanda's power, because of the way she's being manipulated and what she's able to unlock, becomes so great that she's a threat to just the entire, like, to all of it, the Beyonders and everybody else. And that be the reason they have to ignite their contingency plan. And it's not some, oh, we got bored with our experiment, so we want to activate Molecule Man to detonate all of it and start these incursions. But it's more like, nah, we got to do this because it's the only way we're going to make sure Wanda can't get us.
Right.
And that be the way you set off Secret Wars. And it all comes back to, and it all like this moment.
See, okay, I got you. Yeah, but see, when it comes to Secret Wars, there's like so many years of content we'll probably get before we even see Secret Wars.
Of course.
That yeah, I mean, I can see what you're saying though. Like this be the pinpoint. Like this is just something that grows, and they'll have to be like, oh, well, this started way back when Wanda was doing the whole town bubble, Westview.
And it could even be that, and I mean, it could even be, you know, if you wanted to go the Doom route with it, and have Doom still be the one behind it, Doom could be, you know, on some, I manipulated Mephisto into doing this thing because he was so short-minded. He didn't even realize what the play that I was trying to make. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be a hell of a way for them to do it in terms of like they've been doing with the MCU, taking those stories and kind of tweaking some things here and there to make it make more sense cinematically. That might be crazy if they were to go that route.
Right. Well, why don't we get some of these super chats?
Let's do that.
And while we do that, I'm gonna see if I can get some tangible leaks for us. How about that?
Bet that.
So I know we got Rogue Soul back with the $5. He said Vision questioned reality in episode 2. I think that's the proof. It is some version of Vision, and he isn't being puppeted by Wanda. So what do you think? It's a version of Vision, like I was saying earlier, or someone else being mind controlled?
Yeah, I think I agree. It's got to be some version of Vision. Like but here's the thing about that though, is I think Vision can be a creation of Wanda, you know, or from Wanda, and still be Vision, in my opinion, because number one, we talked about their connection with the Mind Stone, and if he is a manifestation of some sort from her, then inherently he would have her memories. So, or subconsciously even, he would know something wasn't right. Just like, you know, when you watch those first couple episodes, there started to become a shift in Vision where he started to realize this don't feel right. And the you know, it's kind of the inherent like inevitability of Vision as a being that he becomes sentient, and he starts to realize what the bigger play is. You know what I'm saying? And so this is essentially what we're watching is kind of the slow motion reawakening of Vision, because it's like you said, the Mind Stone was taken from him, but everything else that constituted Vision, we could assume, is still there. So if that ties right. And
yeah, they totally teased
they totally set that up in Endgame. Infinity War. I'm sorry, you're right. Infinity War. Yeah, when they were in Wakanda. So they totally set that up. And so now you can be paying that off by saying Wanda became that missing link that was able to and I love the idea of you saying that she's got the body, because that could be ultimately, you know, have part of it where that might not be that corpse, or that might not be Vision in the visions that we're seeing, but it was that allows her to then manifest this version of him somehow. You know what I'm saying? It could totally be something like that. And if it were, you could still set it up to where he still wakes up and realize, or not wakes up, but he still realizes that he's being manipulated and something's not right. And like eventually coming to that conclusion himself. So I could totally see it playing out like that.
Right. Yeah, I could totally see it being something like that for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see who we got left. Who we got next here? I saw Pete Afato with the $4.99. Oh yeah, Roxo also went on to say with another $5. He said also Keanu as Ghost Rider or bust.
I'm with it.
I still want to see my man Keanu play Silver Surfer. I want to see him as Silver Surfer.
That one too.
I think he would have, and what they need to do is they need to have him be all bubbly and zen, like how he was on Zen Law when he was trying to learn and do all that. But make his personality bubbly, as bubbly as Keanu can probably pull out, almost close to Bill and Ted days, like bubbly as hell, kind of. Right, like I'm serious. And then when my man Galactus, but like in a zen way, because when my man Galactus comes, he's getting ready to eat his planet. Then he starts preaching all that Bill and Ted love stuff. My man Galactus snatches him up, and then he becomes the Keanu that we're all used to. That's just moot, like he was kind of in
by the time
Matrix.
We got to the yeah, exactly.
Yeah, by that Matrix, then we go in the Matrix Keanu, and we get Norrin Rad, Silver Surfer. Man, listen, I think that'd be dope. Word. I think there's too much CGI involved, and I want to see him act a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't want.
I feel that.
But anyway, we got Pete Afato with the $4.99. He said, "What if she can't recreate dead people, but she's going to pull another Quicksilver from another universe, breaking the multiverse?"
I can see it.
Kind of interesting, but I see one of them babies turning into something. I think that it's probably a little more. I want to say a little more complicated, but maybe a little simpler than that. Because we're gonna get into the leaks. Some of the leaks I was able to find in just a second. We got a bunch coming in. You getting those out?
Yeah. We got
using our little technique on that one.
Yeah. So then we had the homie Will.
Yep.
With the $1.99, said my guy pimping with them shades.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you, sir.
Oh yeah. You know how you do it. Then Brent Stewart had a $5 super chat. Appreciate that, Brent. Good looking.
Sir, yes, sir.
And then from Brent, looks like, hold on here. Looks like we got a new one. Levi Bognar. Welcome.
Welcome.
You are in Avenger now.
Yes.
Rogue Soul coming with the $5 super chat says, so Wanda's perception of vision is so powerful and awesome that he kind of wills himself back to life. Yeah, basically. I mean, that's like I can see that. I could totally see it playing out that way, where it's like Vision not necessarily wills himself back to life, but is able, because of what she's doing, she doesn't realize that it's so powerful that it actually allows these people that she's creating, or these creations of hers, to be able to step out into reality. And or maybe that's the missing piece that whoever she's being quote unquote manipulated by is trying to solve for. It's like, okay, we've already got her doing this, or we've already got this established. Now, how do we get these people out of here? Like you know what I'm saying? It could totally be a situation like that. But yeah, I think however you want to kind of dice it, the end result is going to be us realizing that Vision kind of snapped out of it in a sense, and was able to kind of bring himself back into the situation. No doubt.
Right. Yeah, that kind of makes me wonder, like in that second episode where he's the gum, and it gets all messed up. Like what purpose was that? Like what was that?
I think that's a good question, and I think I think those answers are still yet to come. Like I think there's going to be a point, or by the time that we get to the end of this series, or at least this season, because I don't know if there'll be necessarily a second season, but regardless, by the time we get to the end of this season, all of that is going to make sense, and you'll be able to go back, and all of those jokes, all of the references, all of that is going to tie in. And you're gonna be like, oh snap! Like they really went deep with this shit.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm down with all of that. Let's see, we got Baby Yoda's escape pod with $4.99. Said in order to appear in Wanda's vision, she needs a physical body to cast her spell on. That's why I know Aaron Taylor Johnson. Aaron Taylor Johnson is the Quicksilver, her actual Pietro, her actual brother. That's who Aaron Taylor Johnson is. So what we know is craziest thing is that we're gonna get Evan Peters instead of Aaron Taylor Johnson. So I mean, I get what they're saying. she needs a body to cast her spell on, but I'm pretty sure he got buried. So if she wanted his body, she could just go get it. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about Vision is, like we're saying, one, they were on a love thing. He was kind of helping her see past and get over her brother's death, and she accepted that as him being dead. Another thing too, you know what I'm saying? Uh, so with the fact that she accepted his death, she wouldn't try to reanimate her brother in that sense. Not in that sense. I can see her trying to reincarnate, and this is the reason why we kind of get Evan Peters. But I think it's a little crazier than that with the fact of what some of these leaks, one of these leaks say. But we got Frankie G with the $9.99. He said, he said, y'all should check out Rob from Comics Explained. He did a video yesterday explaining Dormammu's behind everything, and it connects to Doctor Strange. Okay.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Shout to Rob, Comics Explained.
Right. See Roxy coming through. Hashtag we love Cara Dune. Well, we all about that Star Wars over here too.
Oh, of course. You see, I'm repping the day. This is the way.
Right. Exactly. We got Joe Marua with $5. So it's a new chase for the stones. Doom will want it. Warlock will aim. It's a new chase. Marvel is all about them gems. They all about them gems, man. That's not a lie.
Gotta get them stones. Truth.
Right.
Thanos had a pocket full of stones for a minute.
Didn't he? We even had a spaceship with a diamond in the back.
Yeah, sunroof top.
Sunroof top.
Man.
He was pimping with the when he stopped flying, the propellers kept spinning. My man had them spinners. Got Rogue Solar Gang. Thank you very much, sir. $5 holla. He said gum is proof his internal parts are moving, proving he's alive on some level. Maybe I could see that. Okay. Maybe because he doesn't eat, and that's always the thing, and that's those are the things too you got to pay attention to for the first and second, and even parts of the third one where they're trying to get him to do normal stuff, eat food, drink water, blah blah blah. And he's always like, I don't do these things. I don't eat. And I see you, Marianne Johnson. She's popping in saying, Wu has a missing witness, and she believes that he's using, or maybe I don't know if that's one of the leaks, perhaps. If it's one of the leaks, say it. But she didn't say that. But she said, he's using one of the Wu's missing witness. And the only thing for me is like the problem I might have with wanting to believe that is the first episode where he phases through and saves Dr. Hart. It's like if the missing witness, so who's this missing witness to who possibly already has powers, or is she just that powerful she can just give people powers? Like,
yeah,
what is the extent of Wanda's power now?
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Like, how powerful is she? No doubt.
Right. This chaos magic is pretty crazy. And then we got Nail Boogie with the $19.99. Thank you very much, sir. He said definitely Vision's corpse reanimated. Possibly the deal Wanda made was to pair the corpse with the soul via this reality that is becoming real via Mephisto, Grim Reaper, Wonder Man, and then we got Vision, Wink, and Speed are the deal. Much love to you too. Well, Nail Boogie, thank you very much, there, sir. I can see something along with that. With the we're already saying his corpse is reanimated, and that could be possibly the deal because, like I said. She says to him, he's like, we can go anywhere we want. She's like, no, we can't.
Right.
So what do you think? What do you think that means?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Before I jump into it, I do want to catch the homie Brent Stewart hit us with the $2 super chat. Said she didn't create Westview, she wiped their memory. Could be, man. Okay. Could be. I see.
Well, see. Okay. Well, the thing with that is they explicitly say that there is a lot of CBR energy.
Yeah, something like that.
That is consistent with a Big Bang creating a universe type deal. So, I mean, perhaps that was a thing that wiped their memories, but at the same time, with her being able to physically watch what's going on in the world because of this residual energy that links up with the frequency. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. I see you, Marianne Johnson said, look at the kids. Why can't she give someone powers? Well, you got to think those are manifestations. They're new things. They're not something that's already created.
No doubt. No doubt.
So I haven't seen her with someone. Let's like, you know what I'm saying? If Monica Rambua all of a sudden gets powers, then yeah, I'm like, okay, she can give somebody powers. But so far, she's creating all her new stuff in this realm, in this bubble. So we'll have to check out what my man got to say.
No doubt
on the thing.
For sure. So what was the question again? Hit me with that question again. Before we dove into Brent's, and it was
what did you think about it being like, what's the deal with her saying that they can't go anywhere?
They can't go.
You know, when he was saying that, you know, we can go anywhere we want.
Exactly.
But she was like, nah, homie, no, we can't.
Yeah. Well, see, I think that's where we realize, or that was them kind of teasing the first little bit of, you know, part of whatever deal she made, or whatever the situation is. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, you know, she is where she is, and the part of the agreement is she can't go anywhere. Like that's like wherever they are, they're not. I won't say they're stuck there, but
that's where the energy.
Yeah, that's where the energy is, and her being wherever they are or wherever she is you know, that reality is contingent on her being wherever she is, and so that's why she's telling him, nah, we can't really go. And I don't mean that like from a physical sense necessarily. Like, I'm not saying they got her locked in the basement and she's telling him, because Vision's thing is he's essentially saying, we can get up out of here. We ain't got to stay in Westview. We can go wherever we want to go. And she's saying, no, we can't. So that brings a lot of questions to my mind, because number one, from what we know and what we were told in this episode, Sword popped up on the scene and realized that Westview was crazy. Like it wasn't supposed to be there. So they kind of, you know, naturally set up a perimeter. They had built their little base there and you know, been monitoring ever since, right? That's kind of what we got from episode 4. So if that's the case, then at what point did Wanda post up? And if Wanda posted up, and if she's posted up and that little area is like specific, or, you know, when she says they can't go anywhere, is she talking about physically, or does she mean that this Westview creation is kind of the extent of what she's able to do? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm thinking that this creation that she's in, whether it's a deal with Mephisto, Nightmare, whoever, or it's just the power they granted her, and that's where she decided to create it. They might have told her, hey, you know, per this deal, you're stuck here. You know what I'm saying? Like, wherever you decide you want to settle down and create this energy is just
right. That's just going to be where it is. Right.
Yeah. So I don't think they can just go anywhere that they want based on that. That makes sense. But I just think when it comes to Vision, he just doesn't know that, because he doesn't fully accept or know that he is in a false reality,
right,
of sorts.
Gotcha.
And I have no choice at this very moment to stop the conversation just a little bit. I mean, I love you, Mama. I'll have to call you back too. But I see a new Nair then popped in with the $200. What is that? Is that euro? What is that?
Oh, no, I don't know what that is. I saw that, but I was like,
yeah, $200 Shazam dollars. No offense. And he said Wanda creates this pocket reality from which everybody else who has been inside are real except Vision, because he's dead for real. Hence, Wanda creates more branches of this reality so that she can be with him. Okay. Yeah, I can totally get behind that. Her trying to expand her energy, or maybe her energy is expanding. They haven't gotten to that yet, and it's just they can't go anywhere yet because they hasn't reached out.
Right, she hasn't been able. She ain't evolved it that way yet. I got you.
And we're gonna do that poo in your cereal with the $4.99. He said, "What you gonna do when Wanda blicks the mutants into existence?" I think that's more or less. That's more or less where everything's gonna go.
Now I got a question for you, and this is kind of wild, but I'm gonna just throw this out there, because we heard, a couple weeks ago or a week ago, little whispers in the streets about Feige wanting Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, right? There's little whispers about that.
Right. Yeah. Like
we also know,
like
pretty much we feel like Evan Peters is coming back, and he will be Quicksilver. Now, we know that if that's the case, they're going to have to explain how this Quicksilver that we met in a different Marvel universe is now in the MCU. We also know Deadpool is coming.
Yep.
So what if whatever Wanda's doing is causing her to grab these people from these versions of these characters from other multiverses and bring them over into this one? So it's literally her ripping them from their previous continuity and dropping them in the MCU. Like, just throwing that out there, because it certainly could be possible. I mean, if you think about what it would mean, or what other way could you have, or could you explain Quicksilver showing up and being in this universe? Like, what would be the motivation behind that? How would he get here? What would be the explanation? I mean, I'm sure there's hundreds of different directions you could go, but what if that was the play? How would you feel about that? Where Wanda was actually, something that she was doing was causing these certain characters to be pulled from their section of the multiverse into the MCU.
Well, see, that's the thing. So when it comes to what she's doing and like the types of characters that we're seeing, like we're getting, the types of people that they're asking to come back, the types of news that we're getting where certain people are going to be joining, like like you were saying, it would seem very feasible that whatever it is that she's doing, whether it's a deal with the devil or it's just something that she decided to do on her own, is of course affecting the other multiverse. And like I said, I think we said on Thursday when I was like, what happened with Fox?
Yeah.
They just absorb them and just take the characters and that's it? Or, they're going to be a subsidiary type or secondary type of business they use to create certain things, the fact that we get Evan Peters, period, to me, what she's doing is going to be their way of pulling in all these other properties that they got and being fair. And some of the actors that were tied to some of these properties, if they wanted to return and reprise their roles, could easily, we don't have to recast. I don't know what the Anthony Dude's doing. He might not want to come back and play Quicksilver. But the one that they got for Fox was actually a really good fit for Quicksilver as well. Plus, I know he wants to come back and do stuff. So
I think everybody would want to come back and be down with the MCU. Like, let's just be
some
real.
way or another.
Let's just be real. I don't think there's anybody that's played a Marvel character ever.
There is one.
Who?
There is one. There's the late great Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart said I will not come back and reprise this role. Hello.
Hey,
I'm Patrick Stewart, and
Patrick Stewart can do that.
I'm old.
He can do that.
After Logan, I'm done.
But I mean, but that's the whole. But don't you feel like, though, on the real, like getting him to be Professor X anyway was just like kind of like that Hail Mary. He was perfect, but like, did you ever?
Nowadays, it's like.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, did you?
Oh man, Josh came in and said, "Nope. I take that back. Hello, I am Patrick Stewart, and besides American Dad, you can find me in the next iteration of the X-Men. I'm coming back." I said yes. I lied.
But that's what
didn't want to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even regardless, like, who at this point you'd be crazy not to get in on that? Like, unless Feige was hitting you with the Suge Knight Vanilla Ice contract and was like, "Nah, bruh, you gonna do this, and we gonna get this from you right now." Like, unless that's the way it was going down, unless that was the way it's going down, like, you got to be crazy to tell them, "Nah, I'm good, man." I mean, I'm not knocking you if you do. People move on or what have you.
Yeah.
But if you still have an interest in playing that character, or put it this way, if you were willing to come back and do a sequel for Fox, you damn sure better be willing to come back and do it with Marvel Studios.
I'm gonna put it to you this way: after everything that's happened in the past year, if you want to try to make some money and you're an actor and you want to try to get some of that cash flow that's going around,
see, look, you doing it again.
Yes.
You're doing it again. Sounding like White Sugar. If you really trying to make some money and you don't want to have to worry about the studio being all in your movies all in your writing meetings.
All your writing.
Like, come to Marvel.
Like, right.
I'm telling you, man. Like, it's so good. It writes itself. I promise.
All right. So we're gonna talk a little about these leaks. But I'm not talking about no leaks. I'm looking right now and I see I'm gonna have to pull that card. I see we got 318 people at least watching. But I see we only got 151 likes.
That's it.
I say I don't say nothing until we get like 200. I'll go 50 more likes. I'll go a leak every 50 likes. I will give you another leak.
I like that. I like 50 that.
Likes. I'll give you another one. Okay, that's what we do here. Here in Nerdconda. We are broadcasting really from Nerdconda.
From Nerdconda.
Welcome to Nerdconda. But
you know what they say about trolling? We don't do that here.
We don't do that here. Not at all. But I'm loving the enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm loving it too, man.
So lightweight. I mean,
Clone Trooper. I see you, Clone 199 Trooper. Sorry, I had to shout my boy out. I see you. I see you.
That's what's up. So one of them that I was able to come across, because I heard the mouse snapped everything, man. I heard the mouse got a lot of this stuff, but it's Vision. You can see Vision, kind of like I said, he pops out of the bubble, and I guess he's pleading with, it looks like possibly Darcy, saying that they need help. Bring the cavalry, because we need some help in these streets in here. Now you start to see him get pulled back. Now apparently with these leaks, they were not completely rendered. So however they got leaked out, maybe somebody held on to it, or maybe they got it before they finished this next episode. Who knows? But you're supposed to see him get pulled back, like Vision himself completely, but you don't. You really see like little fragments or whatever being pulled off of him. So I don't know if he's like resisting it. That's like the first part of him, like, hey, we need help. And you see red energy pulling it back. So you would believe it's Wanda trying to pull him back. And also the whole bubble kind of looked a little red.
Yeah, it did have a little tinge on it.
Yeah, a little tinge of red. So it seems like whatever the heck is going on in that bubble, man, they are not having a good time. But as the likes rise, As the likes rise, I'll have another one for you guys. But yeah, so what do you think about that? Like, my man Vision's out talking to Darcy, talking about he needs help. Do you think he realizes he knows who he's talking to, who these people are? Or is he just realizing what's going on and he's gotten out, and now he's just like, yeah, I need some help?
Yeah, I think it's more of the latter in that situation. I feel like if he gets out and he's talking to Darcy, that's more like him, like that just happens to be who's there, and he's like breaking it down like, yo, y'all need to get the peoples here, because this ain't what you think it is, man. And I think that as he continues to uncover more and more of the story and what's really going on, he will start to realize more and more what his role is, or is supposed to be, and he will start educating Darcy and Sword maybe on that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Seeing if it went that way. The thing that's going on in WandaVision right now is something that I think a lot of people really haven't expected. I think a lot of people, we wanted that we're gonna get all that in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, but that's what we wanted coming off top.
Yeah, man. But I mean, that was the thing, right? Like, that was exactly it. That was the whole setup with why I think WandaVision got positioned the way it got positioned, was because this was gonna be one that was more of a slow burn. And I think the last episode was the first little bit of kerosene they threw on it a little bit, but by the time you get to the end, it's gonna blow they're gonna blow the whole lid off of it, and it's just gonna be to the point where everybody will be on board, everybody will know what's going on, and all we will care about is finding out how it's gonna end and how it plays out. and it's going to be the perfect setup into Multiverse of Madness, I think.
Okay. Well, then don't forget though, they moved Multiverse of Madness, so we're gonna have a whole trip to go through before we even get to see.
Hey, but I want it to be that way though. I mean, like I don't because think about it. For me, and the traditional cinematic experience type of way, you would normally think that you'd have the build up, and right when you get to that cliffhanger, come check out the movie coming out in 2 weeks, right?
Right.
But we not there anymore. Like, at least not right now. And so with the playing around with content and things like that, it's kind of like we talked about last week. The MCU is in no position and in no rush to really put all their cards on the table. So they can play, they can hold all of these movies and these feature films back like draw four cards. And they basically going at the competition strictly with their streaming content, because they are that strong right now that that's all they need. And so they can continue to play that. And the reason I say I prefer it that way is because that gives us time to really start building up the hype for it. Like there would be hype on that cliffhanger and then you want to go see it, but it's more like the thing that made Endgame and Infinity War so crazy was that story, there was so much build up and anticipation, but there was also like buku theories about how that was going to play out.
Right.
And it was like you had all of the pieces to the puzzle for the most part, all the way leading up to, and look, Captain Marvel played a role, but let's just be real. Captain Marvel, the movie, was not necessary to get from, let's say, Black Panther or from Ant-Man. Well, Ant-Man and the Wasp actually came out after Infinity War, but you didn't need that big of a leap to get to Endgame. You know what I'm saying? Or to Infinity War.
That was the gap between Infinity War, right?
It was Ragnarok was the last. Ragnarok was, I think, the tail end of 20,
right. You're right.
Yeah.
And then they had that, and then it was Endgame. You're right.
Yeah, it was Captain Marvel, because it was Ragnarok, and then you had Captain Marvel, and then you had Infinity War. Because Ragnarok was like November of 2018, wasn't it? Yeah. Endgame.
Right. I thought you got Ragnarok, and then you got Infinity War, and then I thought you got Captain Marvel, and then you got Endgame, because at the end of Infinity War, where he actually completes the snap.
Yeah, you see Captain Marvel, they set it up. Yeah, that's the one I was missing. Yeah. So got you. Yes. So, but my thing is, Captain Marvel, like there were months leading up to Infinity War where you got to build that, you got to really dive deep and really get into, okay, let's go back and revisit everything we found out so far. And let's see how we think this is going to play. You know what I'm saying? Are they going to actually do the snap? Is this really going to go down? How's this going to work? And I think that's where you are right now with Doctor Strange too. Like you don't necessarily have to throw it out there right away, because you can give people time to really go back, rewatch, WandaVision, make sure you have all of those ins and outs, theory craft, do what we do, and then you drop it with the build up. You know what I'm saying? Whether they want to do that with the streaming thing, whether they want to do that, as, a welcome back or the first blockbuster movie to come back to theaters, whatever, however they choose to play it. Like they can dictate that, because the content on the streaming side is going to carry them through. Right.
Yeah, I think so too. Totally down with a lot of that. Looking at some of these super chats.
Yeah. I was just about to say, man, we're gonna make sure we catch them so we don't, get too far behind.
Right. Well, I got that all locked now. We can go to the end of the show and do super chats.
Well then, look at you. Yeah, I'm gonna catch up one day, I promise.
Innovative. But we got Mike Haas with the $5 holler.
What's up, Mike?
He said the real question is, who is a scroll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who in WandaVision is a scroll?
Yes.
Thanks for all that you two do. The Dead and Nerds is the best community on YouTube. Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Very much, sir.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate
yeah,
you.
I didn't consider or think about that until this episode actually about, who's the Skrull.
Who's the Skrull? Yes.
Yeah, because we know that they're in there. I'm lightweight thinking that the director dude that I was wondering who he was. I'm lightweight thinking he's a Skrull, to be completely honest.
So for about 2.5, I was ready to say that entire sword base and office was all fake. Until Darcy then pulled up and they did that whole thing. I was ready to be like, man, that ain't even the real sword. Because the way they played that with the whole thing with Monica getting in her access and then dude just showing up out the blue and being like, hey, we got you. We know this happened. Come on in.
We know who you are.
Like no debrief, no nothing. Just like straight from the hospital back in the sword. Like, let's get it popping like everything was fine. And then they tell her that she's grounded. She's only doing terrestrial missions. So it's like, why is that? I mean, last time we got any glimpse of Sword, Nick Fury was up there with them chilling with, so we thought, I mean, we don't necessarily know that was Sword, but I mean, right at the end of that Captain Marvel, it's like, oh, is that what we did? Was that Captain Marvel that he was at the end? No, that was, what movie was that? Now they all running together. Where he was, where my man had on the beach shirt and the flip flops or whatever. It looked like he was on the beach chilling. What movie was that?
Oh, you talking about Samuel L. when he was chilling on the
Far From Home. That was Far From Home. Yeah. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like we were hitting, or it was they were playing with the whole idea of that being Sword up there. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of the impression that I got from that. And so my thing was, well, wait a minute. If he was up there chilling and this is going on, then why wouldn't he be down here trying to figure out what's going on yet? But it could be that, so was that the Skrull or was...
Well, we didn't see that. We technically don't know that until we see the, was it the end of Far From Home?
Yeah, that's the end of Far From Home, which takes place...
the end of Far From Home. So this is technically taking place before that. What we're seeing now.
Yeah, well, we don't know where it's going to end.
This is before we actually get the confirmation that, at that point that he's working with the Skrulls. So we might be sitting here talking about who's a Skrull, who's not a Skrull, as if they're not aware of it. But it's Sword, so apparently they probably are aware of who is and who isn't a Skrull. But the real question is, besides who it is, which ones are the bad Skrulls? That's the one that we have to really start asking about.
Well, yeah, I got you. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but even the homie, he said, but Monica knew about that base.
She asked about it.
Yeah.
So and to me, it seemed like dude was trying to kind of steer her away from that. Like he was like, nah, we got we want you to handle this. And it's just exactly, that's my question, is why? Like what, and I think that's where you start getting, those Skrull implications. It's like, hold on, man, something ain't right. Like somebody playing games with somebody right now because this ain't adding up.
I will say that there might actually be, I don't know if there's any Agent Carter watchers in here. I actually didn't really watch it, but the fact that Monica Rambua is in this, and I think they allude, what happened with her mom and all that stuff. I believe that she was actually even, she kind of played a part in Agent Carter or something like that. So like her mom, Monica's mom. So you would, you probably wonder, what happened with that, if they had any tie-in with the Skrulls too. And of course in Captain Marvel, like Josh is saying, Monica's no stranger to Skrulls.
Facts.
She first met a Skrull back in the 90s apparently. So, it's just crazy, man.
Crazy indeed, man.
I will go ahead and I guess pop in another little leak real quick before we start tackling a couple more of these super chats.
And yeah, indeed. Let me hit real quick. Mike Porter with the $4.99 says, Sir Glass Half Full says the MCU rules and membership has its privileges. You damn right about that, Mike. Love you, Alan Lavis, and everyone. Shout to I ain't saying that, man. Shout out to Cap Pen, man, wherever you are. I'm sure you somewhere trying to convince them that you are an adult, and they ain't buying it. Because they ain't never seen nobody, no grown man.
And no, Dan the man, we didn't skip your super chat. I'm about to say it right now with the $5 holla. He said, "Good brothers, how y'all been, man?" Yep. Omar Hardwick and Army Hammer as Grim Reaper and Simon Williams. Also, how does Mephisto tie in, man? I could go with either one of them two as Grim Reaper or Simon Williams, but I think Army Hammer. I thought they was trying to get him over on DC to play Green Lantern of sorts. So I don't know. That might be a hard one for them to get. But it is Marvel, so it might not be.
No doubt.
Also, how Mephisto ties in, there's a lot of Easter eggs throughout the sitcom parts of the show that show different symbols that allude to either House of M or the dimension of Mephisto and Nightmare. And, of course, like we just mentioned, Grim Reaper and all that stuff. So that's how Mephisto himself ties in. We think that that's going to be the homie Al Pacino.
Yep. Look, man, I'm here for it. You heard me? I'm here for it. Let's do it.
So the next little part of this leak.
Yep.
Because I got a couple of them here, a few of them here. You can see Wiccan. He runs to Wanda and he's telling her about how Daddy's in trouble. And right after that, it kind of skips around. And you see Quicksilver behind Wanda. He's kind of mocking her. And he says something. He says something to her that kind of makes her angry. And she kind of just flicks him away with her power. Throws him through the house like she does. And that's like kind of in front of everybody. There's like a little party going on.
Oh, wow.
It seems like they're in that the little Seventh Heaven house.
Okay.
And he says that he's standing behind her and he's mocking her and he says something to her. She's like, she ain't down with what he says. Now, I see some of y'all already kind of putting it here in the chat. I was going to see if at least, since we kind of doing leaks and a little bit of spoilers and all that good stuff, and we're on a nice number of 222. Yeah, she's standing behind him and he says, "It's not like your dead husband can die twice." Yes, the Black Bat was like, "Nah, Bump with Lab is talking about. I'm gonna put it right here in the chat." He did too, but yeah, he says, "Not like your dead husband can die twice." So there's just more acknowledgement that Vision is dead. So which feeds, some people's theories that this person that is actually Vision could be a shroud over him, but it's not like he can die twice. But to me, it sounds like that is something trying to bait her into either harming him or killing him in some sorts. And it's like, why would she want to do that to, she went through all this trouble to, to manifest him. And I see you, Chris C, which is true. He already did die twice.
Pretty much.
So, it's what that's what I'm saying. So we got this Evan Peters Quicksilver saying this to her.
Right.
And he's not the correct Pietro. He's not the correct Quicksilver. So is this a mind trick manifestation coming from the multiverse breaking? Because technically he does die twice. And is this just like another wake up realization that she's going through with him saying that? You know what I'm saying? Like these and again, if you're here and you're experiencing some of these leaks and spoilers, just realize and know that you did it to yourself.
Yeah, man. Tell him one more time.
You did it to yourself.
Right.
Because we warned you, man.
We tried to tell you. We tried. We warned you at the beginning. Real quick, man. Andrew G. Bo, the $5 super chat says, "Once I saw Q fan cast for Army Hammer as Cyclops, I don't think anyone can portray X-Men's leader better."
I think Army Hammer and Cyclops, I'd rather them do a Street Fighter reboot and make Army Hammer Guile. To be honest, I'd rather see that.
You say that and that makes me nervous, man, because that makes me real nervous. You start talking Street Fighter, I start getting flashbacks to the last one. No, not the last one. The one before the Jean-Claude Van Damme one. Not that Legend of Chun-Li, but
live action.
Bruh, like when they made oh man, I can't even think of when they made Joanna Man DJ, bro. I was done. I was so done. I was like, nah, I can't with this. I can't with this.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, it was an old school movie.
No, it wasn't. Wasn't an old
man
school.
Gomez. Was it my man Gomez?
Raul Julia, rest in peace, Raul Julia. He's probably the only redeeming grace of that movie because he did his thing as Bison. But man, come on. And then when you go back and it's like if you want a good piece of little entertainment, go back and find a YouTube video that talks about the production of that movie. And pay close attention to what it was like working with Jean-Claude Van Damme on that set. That'll tell you everything you need to know about why that movie ended up the way that it did.
About that, I think I vaguely remember something.
Yeah, I was dying laughing. I thought that little mini documentary I watched was like way more entertaining than the movie itself.
Right.
Hilarious.
And Dirt. We know about Armie Hammer and the allegations and little silly things or whatever case stuff said about him. I could care less. He's just another person in this world. But apparently some people don't care. They still want to see him play play parts and be in movies. So I mean,
you know what? Yeah, let's go on a quick little tangent. Let's throw a monkey wrench in the situation real quick. All right. And I'm gonna hit you with a question. How do you feel about people taking stances in general based on off-camera behaviors of celebrities?
I think it's just, I mean, it's kind of twofold because it's really easy for me to be like, they should just mind their business. You know, nobody's in my business like that. Nobody's in your business like that. But again, at the same time, it's like when you be like, if I was like right now, you know, what we're doing, if we were for real blow up, we get like theories level or more or whatever the case, Dr. Disrespect. Of course, being on YouTube, you know, you gotta let people know, you know, this is lightweight or persona. You know, we're as real as we can be with you guys, but it's still lightweight or persona.
Big facts.
You know,
big facts.
And all that stuff like that. But when we put ourselves in this public eye and in this setting here, you know, even in the chat, when we get certain people that come through and troll and come through and do and say certain things,
right?
You know, we are putting ourselves in this position. For us to come off camera and cry about it every day, it's like, well, dude, you chose the wrong profession. So to me, if you're going to be out, you're going to be a celebrity where you got people climbing over fences with cameras to try to see what you're doing, you either got to be really crafty and keep your dirt underneath the carpet, or you just take whatever comes with that.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I'm gonna tell you like so, and it's funny because I asked you that question and I wasn't trying to set you up. This is a very interesting topic for me. You know, you want to talk about keeping it 100. I always go back and forth on this one because I'm like you. I see one side of it where it's like, what does this person's private life have to do with what kind of entertainment they are given? But then on the same side, on the flip side of that, it's like, hold on now. If I find out that you got some outrageous ish going on, that might make me want to reevaluate whether I want to like put my dollars into supporting anything that you about. So it's a really touchy subject for me, or a really touchy thing in terms of, you know, how you deal with that. But I try to use or try to keep 3 kind of guiding principles in mind with that. Number 1, karma is a mother lover. And the reason I start with that one is because it's like, you don't realize that what you put out into the universe, or a lot of people don't necessarily think about the fact that what you put out into the universe, you will inevitably get back. That's just my opinion. The next thing though is, and this is one that I used to hear my old heads tell me all the time, and I'm sure people have heard this say, don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And that's the thing. It's like, before you get on your high horse and start judging people, like, make sure that you have a squeaky clean record, unless you're ready to lay all of your skeletons out for everybody to see. You know what I'm saying? But the last thing though is, assholes get theirs eventually.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People say nice guys finish last, but I don't necessarily subscribe to that. I feel like in the end, if you do people dirty, you are going, or if you wrong somebody, it's gonna hit you. It's gonna come back on you. You know what I'm saying? So when I see these things, when I see like what happens with celebrities and some of the stuff that's in the news, it's kind of like, man, look, you knew just like every person knew. If I do this, this could come back to bite me. And so, I totally look at it, or try to look at it from that perspective, but then I also try to keep that in mind when I am making those decisions about what I want to support, or if I want to actually still co-sign or watch your movie, because it's like, man, look, depending on some of this stuff, I like you said, we sit up here every week and we just two nobodies, but I mean, we have a following, we have people that come to see us, and I'm sure that if there was something, that we did some and they found out about it, even if it's in our past, it might make people go down. I don't know if I really want to fool with them like that no more.
Right.
So, that's the way I look at it. But I've always found that conversation interesting, because people are quick to throw that out there. Like, oh, well, they found out that he was doing this back in 1989 or blah, 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 blah. Or he came out and said, stood up with this, or said he supported this. And it's like, man, look, these are human beings with opinions just like we are. And if you put too much into it, then you might be setting yourself up for disappointment. Take it from a hardcore Jordan fan back in the day. You might not like what you really find out when never, like they say, what is it? Never meet your heroes. Just be careful with that. And that's the nugget of the day for y'all.
Yes, for y'all.
The people. One more time.
The people.
That's what we do that for. We get those for the people.
For the people.
The people.
All right. Let's do this last little leak that I got for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently they're back at the sword base, and the director's talking with Monica, and you see her. She's trying to, I guess, talk with them because they're feeling like they can't negotiate with Wanda. They're like, we can't negotiate with her. And Monica is like, nah, man, you can't treat her like she's the antagonist. That's what they're kind of alluding to, the fact that, maybe somebody else is behind it. It's not completely her, because she does seem like she's a bit out of it at the same time.
Yeah.
Maybe what she did to eject Monica wasn't completely her own influence. Maybe Wanda was like, hey, who are you? Hey, who are you? How did you know that? And then once she, something else kind of took over her and was like, hey, you don't belong here. You need to go. And that's why I just threw her out, didn't kill her. That could be a battle going on between Wanda and whoever else, to where she quietly ejected her, but she didn't, she didn't harm her because of, that battle inside.
Word.
So, who knows on that? But then again, at the end, you see Wanda with the comic book iconic red eyes, and kind of in continuity with the trailer, you kind of see the silhouette of her walking out, like she's about to bust out of the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
But through it all, you do get to see little Wiccan, and you do get to see Evan Peters, Quicksilver, kind of like actually looking like the comic book canon Quicksilver, because it's that hollow. I told y'all, I said that in the watch party, that this next episode, I'm 1,000% sure is going to be the Halloween episode.
Yeah, because
you kind of can watch, because Feige does say that there are clues in the post-credit scenes. How we're talking about how come there's always a little post-credit and then they go into the actual credits after that. It's like, what's the deal with that?
Yeah.
If you watch some of these post-credits, I've watched a couple of them after going back and looking at it, they have small little Easter eggs that allude to what the next show is going to be. And if you go back and watch this very last, most recent episode, you see they animate the bow or whatever of Scarlet Witch's costume.
Yeah.
They animate the bow, and they also animate the old school look for Vision in the credit scene. And of course, you don't see anything like that at all. You haven't seen anything like that yet. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that all obviously has to be an allusion to what the next.
Right.
So they totally these post credit scenes actually are worth a watch.
Yeah, man. Like I said, we're gonna end up going back after the end of this, and maybe we do it with the people. But I want to go back and I'm gonna go back and watch every one of these episodes again, and just once you have full context, go back and see how many little nuggets they dropped, because I think it's gonna be one of those where you're gonna find out that there was even in some of the phrasing, some of the lines of certain characters. I think when they did like the throwback TV show episodes, like all that stuff, I think is gonna play a role, and we're gonna find out just how significant it was once we get the full picture of what exactly is going on.
Right, exactly. I see some of y'all, a couple of y'all in the chat here, a little confused with the post credits. So they're not post credits like they do on the movies, where you get like another 30 seconds or so, and you see the actor or actress or whatever, and they set up the next one. They are entwined in the end credit parts. So what I mean by that is, when the show's over and they go through the little 3D animation stuff, and the first 5 to 10 seconds of it is stuff you've seen each week, every week. But then the last few seconds of it, they start throwing in some images of some things that to throw you off. So it's like the first things that you see are things that you know already. You see Vision, him smiling, things from the episode. You see at the end, you see things from the episode. But then when they start getting into just the 3D renderings, the images that they're rendering in those are stuff that allude to what's going to be in the next episode. Like I described in this recent one, you got the bow and you got the iconic look of Vision in the what you would call post-credit scenes. Because right after that, you get the actual official black screen credits that are just credits. So go back and watch those. Lots of little Easter eggs. You'll be like, oh man, you know what? I saw that in the next episode. You're like, oh man, I saw that.
Hey, oh, not that one, not that next episode.
Not that next.
Sorry. I just got excited.
Yeah, no, it's just I did that last week, didn't I? On Thursday. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the extent there of what we would call weeks.
So let's close it out like this. Let's prognosticate all the way ahead. So next week, 2 questions. Do we get a 2-parter next week? Yes or no? Let us know in the chat and tell me what you think, bro. We get a 2-parter next week?
I think next week we may be a little disappointed and we might get just 1 episode. Okay. But it might be just a little longer than usual.
Might be a little bit longer. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a 2-part episode. Nah, I think they got enough time.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looks like so far everybody seems to agree. I see some hopes. You know what I'm saying? But I think
we'll get like a total, because I think this last episode was 35 minutes?
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
I think we'll maybe get like a couple extra minutes. I think it'll probably be like a 37, 38. If we're blessed and really lucky, it'll be 40.
Right.
But I say no less than 35 minutes again.
Got you.
For sure. I don't think we'll get 2. What's your other question, man?
Other question. What are you thinking score-wise?
That the next episode will be? I think the next episode, I reserve the right to change it, but I'm hoping this next episode will be the 10. I'd like to be able to start just dishing out 10s from here.
I got you.
So, or very least, I'm hoping it's a 9. Because it does look like it's going to be crazy, even with these leaks somehow coming out already, and just the stuff that we already see from this very last episode, how it ended, huge implications. So I give it 9 to 10. That's what I'm hoping for. Worst case, 7. I don't think any episode would be worse than 7.
That's what's up. Yeah, I'm gonna say this next episode, it's gonna be another 9, man. I'm gonna say it's gonna be another 9. I don't think we're gonna get anything lower than a 8.5 from here out. I think from now, I still don't think we're gonna peak yet. I think we might hit like 9 now, but then it's gonna be 9. I think if we go anything lower than that, it'd be like an 8.5. But then after that, man, it's like bring on the 10s. Bring on them 10s.
Right? Yeah. So if this next episode, I feel like it's gonna turn up. If anything, it has no choice.
Yes.
From this point, it has no choice. Like, I think a lot of stuff we're getting now, because we haven't even seen. I guess they didn't do the Mando thing on this, because a lot of the trailer stuff so far we're what? Episode 5 would be the next one, I think.
Yeah.
Because we got 2 at first and then the third. Yeah. So I think from here it's got no choice but to turn up, man. We starting to see this. Yeah. I think we're gonna get that Halloween episode, like I'm saying. Then after that, I think after that we'll probably either see what caused her breakdown or the deal or anything like that. We're getting closer to that, to where everything is going to start answered.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, we ain't got no choice but to have 10s. I'm wondering how they're going to do that with the episode 2. Like I said, they had even in a couple of trailers, and I don't know, maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me, but I've seen a couple of them where she's on the couch kind of playing around with her powers and stuff, and not just like moving stuff around, fixing the house up. I mean, like she's discovering she can do things she didn't think she could do.
No doubt.
It was kind of dark and ominous, and we haven't seen that stuff yet. So I know it's coming. So 10s all around.
Well, I will see your 10s, and I will raise you $11.11, courtesy of the Raven Rose 13. Said, greetings from Earth, maybe. Den of Nerds, the best. Your integrity comes across. Community is great. Question. Can Westview be another multiverse bubble brought here by Wanda? Man.
Another multiverse bubble. Okay.
That'd be some crazy shit.
That would be crazy, but I see that multiverse bubble brought here, and I raise you that it is actually a dimensional bubble of some sorts. And because she is tapping into that energy to create such a bubble, it just fragments and creates a problem within the multiverse. And it starts from that bubble.
I'm with that.
I feel like that'd be a real life phenomenon. If anything ever happened in real life, it would totally happen in or around Jersey.
Yeah.
It probably has already.
Yeah. That would explain a lot.
Yeah, totally explain.
Explain a lot.
Tommy Banana said, y'all know Roseanne is a 90s show. Yeah, but nobody likes Roseanne or her show. That's all I got to say about that.
That's all he has to say.
That's all I got to say about
that. Man, what I'm thinking, man, it's been real and it's been great. Every time we do this, man, we say we're gonna go oh so long, and we go oh so long.
Don't we? All the time.
All the time, man.
2 hours.
But I mean, hey, any amount of time I get to spend with the homie and the Nerd Avengers, that's a good ass time, man.
Right. I can't complain.
It's a good time. But like we always say, you ain't got to go home. But you got to get the hell up out of here.
Yeah.
My man.
My homie.
Y'all already know, bruh. Y'all be cool.
Yes, sir.
And we gonna catch you in the next episode. Oh, why's the sky?
Because I think Wanda.
Is Wanda playing with our emotions again? Is she messing with our? Messing with our multiverse.
I think so.
I don't like that very much, man. Can change the channel.
There you go.
There we go. Man, Wanda be tripping sometimes, man.
Don't you though?
Hey, but I see these clouds is moving a little bit faster.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Still a little choppy, but they moving, man. Like they.
Right.
I guess they realized, like we did, it's time to get on.
Right. You know what I'm saying? As soon as we said they got to go home, it's like, oh, we know what this means.
Yeah.
Man, we see y'all Nerd Avengers next week then, whatever.
That's what y'all want to do.
You know, it would be cool if we did a watch party, recap these last few episodes.
Hey, man, I'm with that, man. I'm with that. I think the people would like that very much so.